Hey, what's up, yo? I am officially done with going to fast food restaurants. You got people out there that really don't understand that we are in the middle of a pandemic. And seeing the behavior of some of the folks in public, I understand how this pandemic broke out. We're surrounded by people that are savages, Neanderthals. They're selfish. They don't have any consideration for anybody but themselves. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. And this is precisely why I am not going to eat at most restaurants for a while, and specifically fast food. I don't usually eat fast food to begin with, but I'm really being militant in terms of my hygiene and in terms of what I put into my body and the places that I go to during this whole outbreak that we have going on right now for this coronavirus. I went to Chick-Fil-A the other day over in Torrance, and the only person I saw that had the courtesy to actually wear gloves was a black woman. She was outside taking orders, and she wore some gloves. There was a guy. I pull up to the drive-thru, and he sits up and he asked me a question. Would you like to look at the menu? And I told him absolutely not. I don't want to look at the menu. I'm good. Not because of the fact that I was absolutely sure in terms of what I wanted to look at, but because I have no idea where this joker's hands have been. And then he takes my credit card with his bare hands, swipes it, and gives it back to me. Before he does that, I asked him, I told him, I said, sir, I need you to take this wipe, because I have some wipes. I want you to wipe off my card, and I want you to wipe off your hands before you touch anything that belongs to me. And he looked at me, he said, why do I need to do that? I said, because there's a coronavirus going on, and I don't want to sit up and catch any germs, possibly from you. So begrudgingly, he did it, gave it back to me, took my hand sanitizer, wiped my hands off, proceeded on. Like I said, the woman who was in the middle of the drive-thru, she actually had gloves on. Kudos to her. That was great. That was great. I head to the drive-thru window. The guy who was at the drive-thru window has his bare hands onto the window seal of the second window. And I look at him, and I did the same thing. I said, sir, wipe your hands off first before you touch my bag. Okay? Why do I need to do this? You know why you need to do this, okay? Don't play stupid. All right? Don't play dumb. All right? I don't want you touching my food with your hands and you have no gloves on. So, needless to say, I filed a complaint with Chick-Fil-A. I went ahead and I told them exactly what's going on. And I told them that I think that in today's climate with this pandemic that we have happening, that employees at public restaurants should be wearing gloves. And if they're cooking people's food, they definitely should be wearing masks. All right? Which is something that should be protocol anyway. I remember my father told me a little while ago, he said that he doesn't like going to fast food restaurants, or he like to eat out, period, because he has no idea what these people are doing. And in the state of the state that we're in today, I think that this is something imperative that we definitely need to be concerned with. Because hygiene and washing your hands, and you should be washing your hands before you eat. You should be washing your hands after you use the restroom. You should be washing your hands before you serve people any food for at least 20 seconds in warm water with soap in order to kill all the germs and bacterias that have festered onto your hands. And before you touch your face and before you touch any objects that you have, I would sit up and I would say you definitely should do that. I would say wash your face for about 20 seconds in really warm water with soap to make sure that you're fresh and you're clean, and your whole entire body as well for more time than that. All right. But I'm getting to the point where I'm separating myself from people that I see who don't have good hygiene, good oral hygiene, good hygiene. I mean, if you routinely don't wash your ass, if you routinely don't wash your clothes, if you routinely sit up and go to sleep with the same funky, filthy clothes that you've been running around for the entire day, okay, and you're doing that, putting your germs all on the bed, putting your germs all inside your room. There's a reason why it is that people were taught these things. And I'm seeing today that this common courtesy that was commonplace when I was a kid and the stuff that my parents taught me, a lot of these kids are not being taught that today. They're not being taught that, you know. And I blame bad parenting for why it is that we have a whole generation of people running around and they don't have common, decent etiquette. That's part of the reason why this disease has spread as quickly as it has. All right. I know it's brand new. I know there's no cure to it, but there's a lot of just common sense, hygienic prevention that you can do to make sure that it reduces your risk of catching this thing entirely. And one of those things, like I said before, is that if you work in the food service industry, you should be wearing gloves, okay? You should be wearing gloves. You shouldn't be serving the public food with your bare hands. And you're in the back dealing with people's food, you definitely should be wearing a mask. So to alleviate all that, I've made it that I'm just not going to opt out of going to a lot of these restaurants, and specifically the fast food joints, because they don't seem to care much about my life or the lives of other people. And if they're not going to make it policy to sit up and make people wear gloves, then I just won't give them my business. And I think that we should do the same exact thing, to set a message in the presidents to all of these fast food and all of these restaurants that you need to care about somebody else besides yourself. The world is not just about you. And this selfish attitude that a lot of people have, this generation me, that you tend to see with millennials and generations who are younger than millennials. And no disrespect to millennials, but we got to be honest about that, okay? This whole era of social media has produced this very narcissistic, selfish, self-centered, egotistical landscape full of people who don't give a damn about anybody or anything but themselves. What I want and what I want now, and I don't give a damn who it hurts. I don't care who it offends. But let me tell you something. There are consequences for it. And those consequences may not be monetarily. Those consequences may not be judicial consequences, but those consequences might be your health. Those consequences might be the universe coming around and giving you the karma because you chose that you think that the world is all about you. So I've decided that I'm not going to support any restaurants out there that are not taking those precautions in this era and during this time where we have this pandemic that's going around. So Chick-Fil-A, like I said before, or at least the one I went to over off of Hawthorne Boulevard in Torrance, their employees are not wearing masks and their employees are not wearing gloves. And I think that is a problem. I'm not putting my health at risk. I'm not putting my life at risk. I'm not putting the health of other people that I know at risk. This is a very serious thing, you know, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of people are not taking this threat seriously. This is not the first time we've had a pandemic, of course, in humanity. There's been other pandemics that have happened. You had the bubonic plague, which was also known as the Black Plague, and then you also had other pandemics that have happened as well. But occasionally, you may have a disease. I'm not a doctor, but this is just what I've researched, what I've read. But occasionally, you have a disease that is only that only affects the lives of animals. And sometimes that disease, it evolves and it starts affecting the lives of people, attach itself onto human cells. Because our cells, of course, are shaped differently than the cells of animals. And that's what happened with this coronavirus. I know that that supposedly it came from a bat and people eating bats, you know, and even if you have someone eating a bat, which I know in certain countries they do that and it's cultural. But the reality of it is the spreading of it is because our society has degenerated into this environment where people just don't give a damn about anybody but themselves. They cough without putting their hands over their mouths. They don't wear gloves and don't wear masks when they serve food to the public. And I think it's a problem. It's a big problem. So I'm starting a movement. I'm gonna start a hashtag. If you see down there, boycott restaurants and public facilities, but particularly restaurants that do not encourage their employees to wear masks and also to wear gloves. So if you go to a restaurant and you see someone who's cooking your food and serving your food and they're not wearing gloves and in the back they're not wearing masks, we shouldn't give them our business, period. We shouldn't give them our business. Maybe it's the will of the ancestors, the will of Ogun. Maybe it's something that the people need. Maybe we need to get back to what we should be doing anyway, which is cooking and preparing our meals, eating more plant-based diet, having more plant-based dietary choices, and eating with our family and our friends instead of going out and eating, with this fast food culture all the time, with this food that's toxic, that now it's a matter of life or death. And not just toxic because of the quality of the food, but toxic because of the manner it's being prepared and the manner that it's actually being served to you. So I'm actually, starting a movement dealing with that. And I'm going to deal with some more movements dealing with this issue because we need to have militant hygiene in this issue. That's the only way any of us can really, really protect ourselves from this coronavirus spreading further. All right. And because of the fact it's new and because of the fact if you catch it, there's not really much that the doctors can do to help you because they don't currently have a cure for it. And you have people out here who have this mentality that the government is going to save you in this ordeal, and the government can't really save you. So all you can do is prevention. Keep your immune system high. Make sure that you're eating well. Make sure that you're exercising regularly. Make sure that you are practicing great hygienical practices, okay? You clean your place regularly, especially if you invite over company, okay? Ladies, I'm not trying to pick on you, but I'm specifically talking to a lot of women out there. I've dated some women who are some of the filthiest, nastiest individuals I've ever come across in my life. You go into their bathroom and they have period blood still in the toilet and tampon packages still out for men to see. Haven't cleaned their bathrooms and in weeks, rings and rings and rings and rings around the tub. That is disgusting. And not only is it disgusting, but you're putting other people's health at risk by doing that. You're putting people's health at risk. And these are things that you should have been taught for people who are not doing it when you were a child. So I'm going to say that if you weren't taught these things as a child, now it's time for you to discipline yourself as an adult and start doing it. Because if you don't do it, it's not a matter of if, but when you catch this disease. And that goes for all of us. We don't live in this world by ourselves. We live in this world together. And we have to start making sure that we have consideration for each other. Otherwise, we'll perish together. So, anyway, this is me, Rashad. I'm over at Hero Productions. I'm giving out my 2 cents on this, and I'm letting people know that I'm starting a hashtag wear your gloves or lose our money. And that goes for every single restaurant, not just Chick-Fil-A, but every single restaurant that's out there. They need to wear gloves and wear masks, or we should stop going to their businesses, period. Period. And if they can't do it, they can't sit up and respect the fact that we got this disease out there that could potentially kill you and debilitate you for weeks, months, or years, then they don't deserve our business. They don't deserve the business of anyone else, because they pretty much have shown they don't care about anyone but themselves. So anyway, I got to go. You guys all be safe out there. Like I said, make sure that you guys keep your immune system as high as possible, and make sure that you guys practice the most hygienical practices you possibly can. All right. If you sneeze, cover your mouth or sneeze into your sleeve. If you have to go out in public, make sure that you have some hand sanitizer, some wipes. All right. Don't touch anything before you've actually washed your hands, or use some hand sanitizers. Make sure that you wash your hands often. You go to the restroom, a public restroom specifically. I've been doing this for years. You go to a public restroom, make sure that you wash your hands for 10 minutes in hot water with soap. Take a paper towel, dry off your hands, okay? And then use that paper towel to open up the door and throw the paper towel into a trash can, okay? Because there's a lot of people out here, I'm telling you, they don't wash their hands, not just for number one, but also for number two, after they didn't take a long, decent, delicious shit. And you don't want to have all that fecal matter all over your hands and your body without you knowing it, because somebody decided that they were going to be a nasty bastard and not wash their hands. Okay, it's come to this. So it's time for us to get healthy, and maybe, unfortunately, this is the universe way of testing, those of us that really care about our lives. All right. So anyway, you guys be safe out there. I got to go. I want to go over. I have places I have to go today, and I need to take care of that. I'm right in the middle of a move right now. And when I get to my destination, I'll definitely let you guys know. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going, but I'm just going somewhere else outside of Los Angeles for a while. So just let you guys know. So anyway, you guys all be safe. You take it easy, and I will talk to you soon. Later.